Your media, where you are.
And on that note, good evening, and welcome to the Your Media launch. I'm going to take a deep breath because this is quite a big moment for me. I was saying to the guys that I'm nervous, and everybody's like, how? Nervous, Zhuang? You're always speaking. In fact, you talk way too much for your own good. But this isn't like any other moment for me, so I'm going to take it in. If I do sort of stumble halfway through it and I get all emotional, please do excuse me. It isn't because I'm not prepared. It is just because it's an overwhelming moment. Nonetheless, welcome to the Your Media launch. For those that don't know who I am, my name is Katleho KG Mabusela ke setlogolo sa ga Tau Rangwa Community Morolong. And it is such a pleasure to be here and introduce you to what has been, I suppose, a journey that's taken about 11 years to get us to where we are now. And I'll share a bit of how we get here. But before we get to that, let's do the housekeeping, shall we? So technically, I'm kind of like your MC, right? But abampateli. So we need to talk to HR and discuss such matters. Anyway, housekeeping wise, please feel free to comment, share, like, whatever it is that you want to do in terms of engaging with us on whatever platform you're watching on. The hashtag that we are using is where you are, hashtag where you are. You might have seen it. You might have seen it on our t-shirts as we are coming and doing the drops. If you're one of the people who received our little goodies and gifts. But yeah, you'll be seeing a lot more of it. We're going to be with each other for a couple of minutes. It's not going to be a whole hour-long procession, so don't worry. We'll let you get back to dinner and all of those things very, very soon. So let me first say thank you. Thank you in abundance. Thank you for being here. Thank you for those that have known me for longer than just this moment here. Thank you for all the support. And the support has been in many shapes and forms. It's been personal support. It's been at times, and I'll be very candid because I'm a very candid person, it's been financial support. It's been everything. I appreciate you. I appreciate you. I sit here with the team that I'm sitting with, and we launch what we launch because you have been there for me. So, anyway, I guess a good place for us to start is the beginning. About 12 years ago, I was a young little man in Bafana's waving at me frantically saying, please remove that thing there so they can see you. Okay, so I've taken it away now, Bafana. I was a young man at Wits University, and I was studying music at Wits, believe it or not. I don't know how drunk they were that day, but they let me in nonetheless. But I ended up working on the campus radio station called Voice of Wits, and that's where my radio career starts. Moved from there and had the incredible opportunity to work for what was then called Joburg's #1 hit music station, 94.7 Highveld Stereo. And that's now called 947, right? So I've been around for a while. After my time at 947 or Highveld, I moved to YFM, and some people are like, KG, you were never on YFM. Struz Bob, Mafra. I was on YFM for a very short stint though. Also got to be a part of the Y Academy at the time as well. Time moves, and I guess was ambitious in that sense, that I wanted to be on the next platform, a place where I could grow and could work with legends. And I got that opportunity, and I'm gonna ever be so grateful for that, because I got to work at Kaya FM, the home of the Afropolitan. I got to work there for about 5.5 years. And in that time, I worked with some amazing people, both in front and behind the mic. Is that what they say? Yeah, in front of and behind the microphone, right? And I learned a lot, because you can imagine very seasoned broadcasters in that space. And I'm coming in as this guy who thinks he knows everything and also has also worked guy. And I got humbled very quickly, got put in my place real quick. But I also learned a lot. In that space also, I got the opportunity to engage with legends, with people who have been serving and continue to serve the broadcast community in an incredible way. One worth mentioning only because we, believe it or not, and nobody could have seen this coming, speak about him posthumously now. It's the late, great legend that is Ndate Bob Mabena, Uncle Bob, as we used to call him. And may his soul rest in peace. I remember having a conversation with Uncle Bob when he asked me to stand in for his show. And he called me to what was like a smoking room in the corner that side. And if you knew him, and Uncle Bob set me down, and he said, KG. I said, yes, sir. He said, you've got it. I said, got what? Because now I'm worried, some other Corona before Corona, I'm like nervous. But anyway, He says, "You've got this radio thing." And I said, wow. I mean, imagine 25 years in broadcasting, that man saying that to you. Anyway, I'll fast forward the story so that I don't just get overly self-involved. That's how I end up hosting or standing in for Bob Mabena. That's how you end up seeing me on YouTube with the likes of Kumba when he'd come in on Fridays. And of course, we've seen how his career has blown up. But I'll forever be grateful for not just the opportunity to stand in for a show as big as that, but also to have somebody like him co-sign myself and validate me as a broadcaster, as a young broadcaster as well. Also worth mentioning that at that time, I was also working with somebody who had been with me at 947 and had ultimately then met up with me again and given me an opportunity yet again at Kaya. That's Matapelo Munaisa, who was the programming manager at the time. And I'm very, very thankful. So that's been my radio journey. At some point it stops. Some of you might be aware. It stops for a number of reasons. One being that I guess the radio gods were like, "Wena, you need to rest. Chief, you need to calm down and be easy." A second part of it is because my mother passed away around that same time. And I guess I just needed time to step back from a lot of things and just focus on trying to get business going and focus on healing and doing that kind of work. Now, I don't want to bore you with my whole life story. This is not about KG's life story. But I think that context is important so you can understand how it is that we find ourselves where we are now, how we find ourselves celebrating this moment, which I'm acutely aware of the fact that it is the beginning of a journey and it is not necessarily the celebration of a major milestone. But for us, it's important. Like any child, when a child comes into the world, we must celebrate, we must beat the drum and sing and dance and enjoy the fact that there is this new life that has been brought forth. That is about 4.5 years ago, or 4 years ago, give or take. In that time, my mind is thinking about coming back to radio, coming back behind the microphone. But I'm acutely aware at that time that there's no point in coming back to this platform if I have nothing new or different to offer. What am I going to say that hasn't been said already? What conversation am I going to have? And Lord knows I can talk. That's part of what got me into trouble in the other radio stations. Because I just go on like I'm doing now. Anyway, point is, that thought then leads me to, but what else is there? What else is possible? And naturally, like everybody else, I think maybe I should own my own radio station. The ego gets all excited. We move from that to, but what's your radio station going to do? And then I'm like, there are enough radio stations. I want to have conversations and I want to engage with people. And the truth is, right now as a broadcaster, if all you do is come onto a microphone, tell us what song is played, what song is coming next, and what the weather is, you're competing with a cell phone. And that cell phone will tell you the room temperature of the recording studio that song was recorded in on the day that song was being recorded. So the depth of information that's available as a result of technology far outweighs what you and I will be able to ever put together in the 30 seconds that we have to engage with audience. And so I remembered there was a time when SABC had what they called continuity presenters. And of course, time passed and they were no longer adding value through that platform. And I thought, I don't want to become that person. I don't want radio, at least my radio career, to end up that way. Anyway, again, the question, so what are you going to bring that's new? I'd been engaged in incredible conversations with some incredible people that nobody necessarily knew. And they were fascinating. These people were passionate about what it is that they spoke about. They had networks that they were sort of stuck into and connected to that was as equally passionate, if not more, about that those very same topics. And then I continued to do the research and thought, what if it was possible to bring those people together, allow them to have this level of quality in terms of conversation and share that with the world? And so this seed is kind of sitting in my head and I'm like, but what format am I going to do this in, and et cetera, et cetera. I'm going to fast forward again because I don't want to bore you, right? Another thought comes into mind as COVID hits. What if we could do all of these things that I'm thinking of doing online, do them cost effectively, but still produce high quality product? And then another thought comes into mind. What if in 2021, broadcasting wasn't so much about the people on the other side of this microphone, but more so about the people on the other side of the headphones, the people who consume the content. And so, ladies and gentlemen, that is where Your Media was born. And that's why our naming convention is your media. Because the reason we exist is not for our own vanity, but to create content that is compelling and engaging for you at home in your most intimate moments. When you're sitting there, got a pajama, or they call them loungewear these days, right? And you've got your cup of coffee and you want to engage in subject matter that matters to you and resonates with you. That's why we exist. When you're driving to or from work, you've got those moments of silence and you want to engage with content that matters to you. That is why we exist. When you are on a flight and you've got a couple of hours to kill, but you want to grow, you want to learn, that is why we exist. We are where you are. And that's why Your Media is here. Your Media is a podcast network, and it's comprised of a number of subject matter experts sharing content around very specific areas of interest. I'll give you an example of some of them as I start to introduce those shows. So I'm not going to get ahead of myself, but I was told by the PR team, stress this, so I'm going to stress it. And that is that we are a podcast network. A lot of people assume, especially when you hear that somebody who used to be a broadcaster is doing something of their own, that we're a radio station. No, we are not. We're not a radio station, podcast network. And you can find us at yourmedia.co.za, and we'll talk a little bit more about that platform and what that entails. But this is not about me. Today is not about me. I'm here to simply introduce you to this platform, but more importantly, introduce you to some of the content that you're going to consume on this platform and introduce you to some of the people who are going to be ushering you through this content, who are going to be, what's the term, English term, curating this content. And so if you will allow me, I'm going to do just that, introduce you to them, but allow them to tell you their story, tell you about their shows, and tell you what you can expect when you tune in or you download or you stream any content from Your Media.
My name is Tsiamo Modisane. I am a TV and radio personality / brand ambassador. With 10 years experience in the entertainment industry, I've literally done it all, from styling right up to entertainment and lifestyle writer. So the phrase where you are, to me, speaks to a state of mind of a person. It talks to an individual who is aspirational, as well as very intentional about their goals, their ambitions, where they are and where they want to go. It speaks to somebody who is just like aware of everything that is going on around them, both locally and internationally. So the transcript with Tsiamo is literally a visual, a visual and audio narrative of a person's life. I've always been fascinated about what makes a person, and in the sense that we all have people we look up to, and we never know what it is that makes them who they are. And that's basically what the transcript is going to be doing. We're literally transcribing their lives on an audio platform. So I'll be sitting with influential people from across all spectrums, be it from business right up to soccer players, legends, anyone, as long as you're influential and not an influencer, but influential. And yeah, just sitting, talking, having a casual chat, finding out about your struggles, your successes, things you've done.
I'm Tracy Zeman Jacobs, intimacy and relationship coach from Totally Me. For the purposes of the show, we're going to call it Totally Not Taboo. So hashtag where I am. I'm a mother of 3 children, 2 almost grown children and a 15-year-old who's still at school. And I'm a social worker in private practice, specializing in intimacy and relationships. So Totally Not Taboo is a show focusing on sex and sexuality, that nothing is off limits. All discussions are completely not taboo. I'm focusing on all race, religion, culture, sexual identity, and sexual preferences. Sex is something that everybody is doing, but nobody's talking about. And couples in relationships, in marriages, can really grow from speaking about this taboo subject. And they're doing themselves a disadvantage by really shoving this under the carpet. We need to educate children about sex and sexuality so that they have more tools in going forward in their relationships. And the other thing is that I'm using this platform to encourage communication and to educate people about sex and sexuality.
It's about you, your media,
My name is
where
Maya
you are.
Kondo, and I am a musical theatre performer by profession. I am from Johannesburg. That's where I was born and bred, never left. If I leave, it's only because of holidays or work. But other than that, I'm from Joburg, born in Soweto. The show goes on with Noni is going to be a motivational show. It's going to be a show about the forms of art in terms of dance, theater, music. We're going to be educating people. We're going to be inspiring people, and we're going to be giving people knowledge on how and the correct ways to get into the industry. Hashtag where you are means, for me, what it means is that it means I'm here in this moment. It's 2021, and I'm having a great opportunity to be with your media. KG has asked me to come on board, and I'm very excited about that. Also, because due to COVID and, being a musical theatre performer, there isn't much theatre going around. There isn't much happening for us except for, I guess, doing like pro bono work for yourself, trying to stay creative. So for me, it means I am present within this pandemic. I am with a child.
My name is Mwachi Maponyane, a son, a brother, an uncle to a beautiful 2-year-old. And then health and fitness professional. I've been working in the health and fitness space, both as a personal trainer and as a wellness consultant for the last 13 years, and I've been enjoying it the most. That has been that chapter of my life. And then starting another chapter with the podcast that I'm going to be doing with your media.
Okay.
The Health Fix with Mo. Very fun, very interactive. Some of my friends are going to come through, friends within the fitness profession. And we're basically trying to simplify the health and fitness industry. It tends to get very complicated, which gets intimidating. So we're trying to give the listener a very useful experience, something that they can understand and something that could help them start their journey or help them with their journey if they're on that journey already. So we're basically just starting a movement for movement. Where you are for me is how you interpret your life presently and how you gather information to move your life forward, with the content that you consume, whether it's from books, or from the podcast that we do, from videos, and then from that information that you just created for yourself as a project, moving on to becoming a better version of yourself each and every day. That's what it means for me.
There are so many demands on you. Demands at home, in the boardroom, and in the bedroom. You have to be jack of all trades, wearing a different hat when the moment arises. You're on all the time, always on the clock, always catching up. Take care of you. Introducing Your Media, your podcast network that meets you where you are, when you need it, at your time, in your space, when you feel like it. You come first. Your Media, where you are. Your Media, where you are. It's about you. Your Media, where you are.
Can you see my smile? Is it that obvious? I am so excited. I'm also so proud. I'm proud of everybody who's been a part of the journey. And before I even get to them, ladies and gentlemen, this is Your Media. That's what Your Media is about. It's about curating content that is very specific to whatever needs you have, whatever content needs you have. And that's why we talk about this idea of hashtag where you are. Now, you heard some of the presenters speak. We don't call them presenters, by the way. We call them content partners because they are partners, right? But you heard them speak about why they, or at least how they interpret where you are. So for us, it is two parts, right? So where you are physically, because we are where you are. You can be, again, in the London Underground and you can listen to us. You can be Kokasi and you can listen to us. You can be anywhere in the world and we will be there because we literally are where you are by virtue of being on the digital sort of medium. But an important part of that is making sure that our content resonates with where you are in your life journey. And so that's why you've seen us go and curate very specific types of content. And that's why you've seen that the array is not like this long list of bits of content. We will get there. We will build up the content and we're going to build it very strategically. We do have a number of shows that are locked and loaded that you didn't hear about. You didn't get to see some of the hosts of those shows. And we're going to be releasing those and coming out with those in due course. But yeah, this is how we launch. This is how we launch Your Media. And I am incredibly thankful to everybody who's been a part of this journey. And, you know, on that note, let me do a bit of a segue because I like pressing buttons.
There are so many demands on you. Demands at home, in the boardroom, and in the bedroom. You have to be jack of all trades, wearing a different hat when the moment arises. You're on all the time, always on the clock, always catching up. Take care of you. Introducing Your Media, your podcast network that meets you where you are, when you need it, at your time, in your space, when you feel like it. You come first. Your Media, where you are.
And because we don't want to keep you here all night, we've got the rest of our lives together. This dance will continue till whenever ends is, right? We are going to start to wrap this evening's event up, but I cannot wrap without doing the thank yous. And it is a long list of thank yous. And if I don't cover you in the thank yous, don't think it's Nax. I'm not that kind of guy, right? But let me start first with our brand partners. Tonight wouldn't have been possible without certain partners. And of course, some of you might know that we activated during the day and we engaged with you. And so I want to name some of those partners because they really went out of the way and said, we want to create, you know, a unique moment for these listeners because they choose our brands, they choose our products as well. I'll start by mentioning Huawei. Huawei came on board and they were excited and have committed to being a part of our journey going forward, and you'll see how that unfolds. But some of you might have with you right now, might be listening to this moment through their headsets, and I'm sure you're enjoying that experience, but there's other stuff that they're bringing. Don't worry, it's going to be exciting. So thank you to the Huawei team. Thank you for having such a short turnaround time and making sure that we get everything in time. Then to Totally Me, that is Tracy's business. The same people I'm talking to, the ones who got the headphones, you might have another little thing in there or two, who knows, right? She gave us some products from her business, which is really about intimacy and getting, you know, a better relationship with self, but also with others as well. I think you guys received some lubricant, so enjoy that tonight, okay? And then we have Jaguar Land Rover Bedford View, who have done two things. One, they gave us a vehicle that we used as part of our activation yesterday and today, but also they went one step further and said, we love the people you're engaging with. We love the people who engage with you. And so what we're going to do is we're going to give them an experience. And they gave us a 90-minute experience for some of the people who received those nice little gift bags. Again, some of these things will be available to you later as well. If you haven't received your gift bag, don't worry. It's still coming. It's on its way. Okay. And then a group of people that I have to thank from the deepest parts of my heart as well, before we get into my team and everybody, is the business that is the station. So the station offices that are situated in Bryanston, in Bedford View, and in Midrand, that is where we are based. The reason that is important is because the station is now our home for the longest time, at least for as long as we can see. And at a time when businesses that are in the business that they're in were struggling really across the board in terms of revenue, people were working from home and et cetera, they took a chance with us. They said, we see what you're trying to do and we want to be a part of that story. And so we're eternally grateful for them taking that chance, and we appreciate you. Now that we're done with the brand team, let me talk to my peoples. In fact, you know what? I'm going to put you guys as my last, as in the team, my peoples. I'm going to put them as the last. There are some unseen heroes in this story. heroes who showed up in ways that people aren't aware of. And some of these heroes are incredibly humble. So they've asked that I don't speak about what it is that they've done and how it is that they've showed up. But what I do want to say to you, because you know who you are, I want to say thank you. Thank you for, again, believing not only myself, but in the team that stands behind me, right? In the idea that is your media. We appreciate you and we promise we will not let you down. In that mix are everybody from investors to also some advisors, people who've taken their time and actually implanted value and knowledge that they've acquired over years and years into myself and into the team. We appreciate you very, very much. And then to my team, to the people who have spent the last couple of hours running around like headless chickens, have spent the last couple of weeks painting walls, fighting with suppliers. Okay, we don't fight, negotiate. Right? Putting this together. Thank you for believing in me. Thank you for believing in the vision. Thank you for believing in the idea that is your media. To the on-air staff, that is a big part of our team. I look forward to hearing the amazing conversations that you're going to curate. I look forward to watching you build your career in broadcasting. To the press that has been incredibly kind to us as well. Thank you for the articles. Thank you for the interviews. We don't take that for granted. Yeah, I didn't. Whew, okay, Khuraf, I'm going to keep it together. The last two people I want to thank, let me thank my friends and family as well. I think, I thank them offline, but let me thank them nonetheless. But I want to thank my fiancée, Leanne. Thank you for my absence and you being okay with that. Thank you for me being a nuisance in your life, but you're still dealing with it. To my late mother, I wish you would have been here to see this, but I hope wherever it is that you are resting, that you are proud. To the families that my team belong to, thank you for borrowing us, your loved ones, tonight and every other time that we ask for them. Ladies and gentlemen, it has been an absolute pleasure. My life's dream to introduce you to this idea that is your media. You find us on social media at your_media_SA. You find us on our website, which is, Bafana said I should show you this. I've probably forgotten. I'm supposed to be showing you the website, but it doesn't matter. You'll go and find it yourself. yourmedia.co.za. We are excited. We are ready. The studios are ready. The presenters are ready. The content is loaded. We have got it all set up, and we look forward to serving you. This has been the launch of Your Media. We're bowing out now. Whew, my eyes are even itchy, so let me let me wipe those. Thank you. Thank you to Content City as well, who I almost forgot. They have created an amazing sound. So they've done our station imaging. Every time you hear us play a jingle or an ad, whatever it is that we play, a liner, it is because they've created it. And Rufue, who's also a part of that team, we go far back. We started radio together way back. In fact, we were together at YFM, and look at us now, and we're sharing these moments. But anyway, enough of that. Thank you. It's past now, and I must be respectful of people's time. It's a broadcasting rule. This is your medium.
There are so many demands on you. Demands at home, in the boardroom, and in the bedroom. You have to be jack of all trades, wearing a different hat when the moment arises. You're on all the time, always on the clock, always catching up. Take care of you. Introducing Your Media, your podcast network that meets you where you are, when you need it, at your time, in your space, when you feel like it. You come first. Your Media, where you are. Your Media, where you are.